Get your pretty little hands off that rifle. Sweetheart, this is a man's weapon. Those words came from Vice Admiral Marcus Brennan, 3 stars on his collar, 40 years of Navy brass, arrogance in his voice. He reached for Staff Sergeant Kadi of Viper Volkov's Barrett M107A1 during a joint operation briefing at FOB Chapman in Kos Province. What happened next made 6 Navy SEALs step back and change how the entire task force saw their only female designated marksman. Because when someone tries to take a sniper rifle, they better be ready to lose more than just their pride. Staff Sergeant Kati Volokov sat alone in the makeshift briefing room at Forward Operating Base Chapman, Kos Province, cleaning her Barrett M107A1 with the precision of a surgeon. 28 years old, 5 feet 6 inches, lean muscle-bound, through years of carrying heavy rifles across mountain terrain. The other operators called her Viper, though most kept their distance. Before you hear what happened that day, whether you're watching from Texas, California, or anywhere our veterans call home, hit that subscribe button because the story needs to be heard. The Joint Task Force briefing was scheduled for 0800 Navy SEALs from Team 3, Army Rangers from 2nd Battalion, in Kadia, the only designated marksman aside from the 1st Special Forces Group. She'd earned her position through multiple confirmed long-range engagements over 3 deployments, holding the Thetes distance record at 227 m, just shy of the world record, but verified by 3 sputters to the brass who just arrived from Norfolk. She was just another soldier they hadn't requested. The room smelled like diesel fuel and Afghan dust. Maps covered every wall, marking Taliban positions in the surrounding valleys. This wasn't her first rodeo with inner-service operations, but something about today felt different. Katia learned to shoot from her grandfather, Viktor Vulov, a former Soviet sniper who'd fought in Afghanistan during the 1980s. After immigrating to Montana in 1991, Victor bought a Remington 700 and taught his granddaughter everything: wind reading, distance estimation, breathing control. By age 12, she could hit prairie dogs at 500 yards consistently. Her father, a Marine who'd served in Desert Storm, initially opposed her military dreams, but after watching her outshoot every member of his old unit at a reunion competition, he drove her to the recruiter himself. She enlisted at 18, selected for the U.S. Army sniper course. After scoring expert on every marksmanship qualification, the Army sniper course at Fort Benning nearly broke her. Not physically, she could hump a rock with the best of them, but the instructors made her prove herself twice as hard. Every shot had to be perfect. Every calculation is double-cheat. When she graduated with honors, the commandant himself handed her the certificate, noting she'd set multiple course records. Her motivation was simple: precision saved lives. Every trigger pull meant another soldier coming home. In Iraq, she'd covered convoy movements, eliminating threats before they could detonate IEDs. In Afghanistan, she'd spent 14 hours in a hindsight during a blizzard, waiting for one shot that prevented an entire patrol from walking into an ambush. That 227-meter shot had eliminated a Taliban commander about to coordinate a complex attack. Verified, documented, legendary. Among those who knew, the briefing room filled with testosterone and ego. At 0755, Vice Admiral Marcus Brennan entered with his entourage: 3 commanders, 2 lieutenants, and enough ribbon racks to stock a craft store. Brennan had insisted on attending the tactical briefing personally against the advice of his staff, determined to show he still understood field operations. Despite 15 years behind a desk, he spotted K.A. immediately, his eyes narrowing at her rifle case. The Barrett stood propped against the wall, its 50 caliber presence demanding respect from anyone who understood long range precision. Admiral Brennan walked straight to her, ignoring the Rangers and SEALs. His voice carried that patronizing tone reserved for people he considered beneath him. He asked what a little girl was doing with such a big gun, if she even knew how to use it properly. Master Sergeant Williams from the Rangers tried to interject, explaining that Staff Sergeant Volkov held the distance record for confirmed engagements in the entire theater. Brennan waved him off, declaring that this operation needed real shooters, not diversity quotas filling combat positions. The Admiral continued, stating he'd been shooting competitively since Annapolis, that he understood precision better than some enlisted soldiers playing with equipment beyond her capability. He reached for the Barrett while declaring he'd personally verify if the weapon was even properly maintained. That's when he made his mistake. He grabbed the rifle's barrel, trying to pull it away from her. In the sniper community, touching another shooter's weapon without permission violated the most sacred unwritten rule. Every operator knew that the rifle was zeroed specifically to her, adjusted for her eye relief, her breathing pattern, her trigger pull. Chief Petty Officer Jackson from SEAL Team 3 spoke up, warning the Admiral that Viper had provided overwatch on their last 3 operations. Brennan laughed, saying he'd show everyone what real marksmanship looked like if she couldn't handle the pressure. Cotier's hand stayed steady, but inside her, grandfather's words echoed, "Never let them see you break." She thought about every officer who'd questioned her presence, every soldier who'd assumed she'd gotten a position through quotas rather than skill. The weight of the moment pressed down, not anger. She'd learned to channel that long ago. This was deeper, a bone-deep exhaustion from constantly proving herself. In Iraq, she'd made a shot through a sandstorm that saved a medical convoy. The after-action report credited it to fortunate timing. In Afghanistan, she'd eliminated 6 Taliban fighters in 8 seconds during a complex ambush. The briefing barely mentioned her contribution. She looked at the Admiral. Soft hands, no calluses from hours on. The rifle range, no dirt under manicured nail from building hide sights. His ribbons included a bronze star without the V device. Meritorious service, not combat valor. Men like him made decisions that got operators killed, then went home to air-conditioned offices and political dinners. Her mind drifted to Private First Class Martinez, 19 years old, killed by a sniper she'd been tracking for 3 days. Command had pulled her off the hunt, saying they needed her elsewhere. Martinez died because someone in a clean uniform made a tactical decision from a strategic distance. But this wasn't about her anymore. Every operator in this room depended on Overwatch. If Brennan wanted to play games with her position, people would die. Brennan's grip tightened on Barrett's barrel, pulling harder. Cardia didn't let go. The rifle became a bridge between 2 worlds, his authority and her expertise. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Then intelligence arrived. That changed everything. Specialist Murphy burst through the door with urgent intel. 6 high-value targets spotted moving through the valley. A Taliban leadership meeting happening in 4 hours. The kind of opportunity that came once a deployment. But they'd need precise Overwatch to eliminate security positions without alerting the main group. Brennan immediately started outlining his plan, suggesting one of his staff officers could handle Overwatch if the sergeant couldn't perform under pressure. The lieutenant he indicated, maybe 25, had qualified marksman in basic training, nowhere near the level needed for combat. precision shooting. Chief Jackson tried, reasoning with the Admiral, explaining that those positions required specific shots through narrow windows, angles only an experienced sniper could make. The targets would be at varying distances 800 to 1,600 m with crosswinds through the valley approaching 15 miles per hour. Brennan doubled down, declaring that marksmanship was marksmanship, that his competitive shooting experience at Annapolis qualified him to judge who could handle the mission. That's when he made his second mistake, yanking Barrett hard enough to pull Cardi off balance. Her response was pure muscle memory. Army Comb Ives Level 3 training kicked in. She twisted the rifle, using the Admiral's own momentum against him. Her left hand found his wrist, applying pressure to the median nerve while rotating. The joint lock, perfected through hundreds of hours of close quarters combat training, could dislocate joints if applied fully. The crack was audible, not a break. She'd controlled that, but definitely strained. Ligaments. Brennan dropped to one knee, face white. His security detail reached. 4 sidearms. Every special operator stood up. The standoff lasted 3 seconds. That felt like 3 hours. Then Katia did something nobody expected. She helped Brennan to his feet professionally, without emotion, and made him an offer. She said, give her 6 targets at maximum range, any distance the Admiral chose. If she missed even one, she'd accept any disciplinary action he wanted, including court-martial for striking a superior officer. But if she made all 6, he'd let her run over. Watch for the mission without interference. Brennan, cradling his injured hand, agreed through gritted teeth. His pride wouldn't let him back down, even wounded. They moved to the range behind the FOB. Word spread fast. Within minutes, 40 soldiers gathered to watch. 6 targets were placed. 800, 100, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600, and 1,810 m. The last one pushed the Barretts. Maximum effective range in these conditions. Cardia didn't rush. She checked wind patterns, calculated bullet drop, factored in air density at elevation for extreme distances beyond 1,500 m. She'd need to account for the Coriolis effect, the Earth's rotation, affecting bullet trajectory. Barrett's weight settled into her shoulder like an old friend. First shot, 800 m center. Mass. Second shot, 1,000 m perfect hit, despite a sudden gust. Third shot, 1,200 m adjusted for mirage effect, dead. Center. Fourth shot, 1,400 m through a crosswind that would have sent most bullets wide. Fifth shot, 1,600 m. The bullet took over 2 seconds to impact. Headshot. The final target waited 1,810 m. She waited for the wind to speak. Reading patterns in the dust. The trigger broke clean. 3 seconds of flight. Time. The steel target rang like a church bell. Admiral Bryn stood silent for 30 seconds, his injured hand wrapped by a corpsman. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He saluted with his left hand, not required for enlisted personnel, but the gesture meant everything. He apologized publicly, admitting he'd let prejudice override judgment. He'd been in the Navy 30 years and never seen shooting like that. He asked formally if Staff Sergeant Volov would provide overwatch for the operation. The mission went flawlessly. Cardia eliminated 8 security positions without detection, enabling the task force to capture all 6 high value targets. Her longest confirmed engagement that day, 1,987 m through a doorway barely 2 feet wide. The intelligence gathered prevented 3 planned attacks on coalition forces for her actions during the operation, not the demonstration. Brennan submitted her for a Silver Star Citation. The citation specifically noted her precision fire that enabled mission success without friendly casualties. More importantly, he returned to Norfolk with a different perspective, pushing for merit-based assessments in joint operations. 3 months later, Cartier received orders to Fort Bragg as an instructor at the Special Operations Target Interdiction Course, SOTIC, later rebranded as the Special Forces Sniper Course. She became the first female instructor in the Advanced Sniper Program. Her grandfather lived long enough to see the ceremony, passing 2 weeks later with her silver star citation on his bedside table next to his old Soviet medals. The rifle, she still has it.